It did prompt me to improvise a line in one of the episodes when we're in the cage, and I say, which bunk do you want, top or bottom? That's what was written. And then I said, or do you want to share? That was a little bit of my homage to the Supernatural family's obsession with the relationship between Sam and Lucifer.
Big hand for Mark Pellegrino.
Oh, there's people here. Hey. I'm not dreaming this is actually happening, right? I'm in Pittsburgh. And you're real people. So, we got lost coming to the auditorium. So, I'm not late because I'm a dick or a diva. I'm lost. I'm late because I got lost. But this is what what? Yes, I'm directionally challenged too, but the person who was leading me was even more directionally challenged than I am. And so when two people are directionally challenged, you can't really find where you're going. And that's exactly what happened. I sort of like this decor, right? It says Chatsworth porn cheesy, but in all the right ways. So did you guys have a good time last night? Did you guys get hammered? What? You're at a con. What happens in cons stays in cons. Don't you realize that? There are no rules. There's no legal drinking I'm kidding. Fuck, that's gonna come back to haunt me too. I can just hear it on Twitter right now. Pellegrino encourages underage drinking. Did you hear it? So guess what happened to me in San Francisco many years ago? Thank you for saying that. Thank you for saying what? I just wanted to make sure you guys were awake. Because there was dead silence there for a minute. I was like, nobody's listening to me at all. So somebody asked me a question, and this was the question. What did you do in the cage all that time when Sam was there? So I simply referred to fan fiction. Which I have honestly never read, but I know about. Because, you know, the fans are quite open about fan fiction. And so I know that there's this ship called Samifer. I heard gasps in the audience. I don't know whether that's a gasp like, oh my God, he knows, or whether the Samifer literature is just really, really raunchy. Which is it? A little combination of both. How many people have read the Samifer literature? Raise your hand, be honest. If you're lying, I'll know. Nobody's read any of the fan fiction on the Samifer? Oh, one person, two people? But the hands are raising a little guiltily, I noticed. Okay, you're very excited about it. So somebody asked me, what happened between Lucifer and Sam in the cage. And I said, I'm in San Francisco, I said, well, if you noticed that Sam was walking funny in the following episodes, you know what happened. I was accused of joking about rape. And this became an actual thing on Twitter. Pellegrino made a joke about rape. Can I just say right now, as I said many times at that particular moment, I didn't make a joke about rape. Sam was a consenting adult. And he enjoyed it. But it did prompt me to improvise a line in one of the episodes when we're in the cage, and I say, which bunk do you want, top or bottom? That's what was written. And then I said, or do you want to share? That was a little bit of my homage to the Supernatural family's obsession with the relationship between Sam and Lucifer. What, is it an obsession? A little, not for some people, but it's really like the Destiel people. That's the big thing, right? Everyone's like, oh my God, yes! Anyway, why did I open with that, you may be asking? I have no idea. I'm super tired. I went to bed at 1 o'clock in the morning last night. Ask me why. No reason. Huh? There's a casino here? I'm not a gambler. What do you think I am, a fucking degenerate? How many of you people went up to that casino? Raise your hand, be honest. If you're not honest, I'll know. Wait, you're talking about the casino and only one person raises the hand? Did you spend all your savings on in the casino? Did you waste yourself away? Did you get hammered? No? You win? Are you a poker player? And a good poker player? So there's strategy that goes along with poker playing. How many people here play poker? Just a couple. Do you guys follow the poker on the TV? The poker World Series or whatever the fuck they call it? You know who follows that? My wife follows that shit. She also watches reality shows. How many people here like reality shows? Fuck me, look at that. So here's the deal. I'm like, I don't want to fucking watch this show. And then 10 minutes into it, I'm like, holy shit. You know what reality stars all share in common? They all have one trait in common. You want to make a guess? Who wants to guess first? No, plastic surgery. Besides that, I mean the boys too, so not, do the boys get plastic surgery too? What a fucking bunch of sucks. I'm letting my wrinkles happen, all right? I'm growing old if I have to, but I'm gonna be young at heart. No, guess again, besides plastic surgery and silicone placed in various, silicone? No, that's a valley. Silicone placed in various areas of their body. What other characteristic do they share? Yes. But I would say shameless narcissism. Like they have absolutely no shame about displaying the worst aspects of their personality in front of God and everybody. I should say Dad and everybody. Why? Just for a little bit of this. And they have no fucking talent. And it sort of irritates me when they're in front of me on a red carpet line. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. Who do you think you are? Douchebag. That's my favorite word. Do you know what douche means in French? Shower. So when you're cursing at somebody, I often call people on Twitter douchebag. Of course, it means something different to us. But I wonder if I'm cursing out a French person, if they think shower bag? What exactly is a shower bag? What? A colostomy bag. All right, you're going to make me go in a really weird direction for which I'm going to probably get much contempt. What does a colostomy bag sound like when you drop one, when you drop a deuce? Does it go? You don't hear it? Did I make you angry? Okay. Oh, really? Oh. Is he okay? Okay. I don't ever want a colostomy bag. And you have to... Oh, let's not talk about colostomy bags. Who took me in that direction? Why did you do that to me? You know better than that. You were the first one to pass on the exactly true rumor that I'm the best hugger of the entire cast of Supernatural. That's you two. Huh? It wasn't me, it was you. And it's true, isn't it? And many people here will agree with you. They're afraid to right now. You're not? See, right? But people came up to me, they were like, I hear you've been saying that you're the best hugger in the Supernatural cast. I'm like, I don't toot my own horn. It's true, but I didn't start that rumor. And if you want to test it out, fucking bring it.
You're still number one on the list, if you wanted to know.
Huh?
Her list, not mine. You're still number one on my list.
Wait a minute. Thank you. I find you to be a very rational being. However, your partner in crime, not so rational, because she said her list, not yours. Who is number one? Bullshit. I call bullshit right now.
Want to go get him out of his meaty green nest?
Do I want to? Make a field trip and all of us go out there and confront him about this issue? How many people want to confront Richard about this issue right now? You guys are so crazy. I'm too lazy. I'm on a comfortable couch from the 70s. I'm having a PTSD flashback. How many people had green couches in the 70s? What? We had a green velour fucking couch.
Teal green. Teal.
The decor of the 70s, I don't know. It's like Picasso and Van Gogh got together and vomited something onto the canvas of the American living room. So this is a Q&A session. How many of you have questions that you want to ask me? The more uncomfortable they are, the better. The more frightened you are to ask the question, the more I will abuse you and make you feel self-conscious. Oh, and look, people are rising to the challenge. I heard somebody go,
Ask
okay,
this question.
okay.
This one's on you.
This one's on me?
Yes. When I got my selfie with you,
Yes.
and I commented about being late to the party watching or seeing your reality checks,
Yes.
and mentioned about black and white and the gray in the middle.
Oh, yeah.
And
And I challenge you to do, I challenge you to ask me about those things
did,
right here.
And I'm asking.
Right,
And I'm
and
adding a little bit that occurred to me after the fact.
Okay.
Is that one of the things I think I recall noticing was comments that you were making relative to right to a living wage and that aspect of things.
Yes, let's get ugly.
And I'm wondering how that relates to the current actors and writers strikes, in your opinion.
So you want to get me in trouble with my union is what you're saying.
Well, that
Are you trying to get me to denounce my union in front of Dad and everyone?
Curiosity, and it's your choice to say no if that's not something.
This is absolutely true. But I am comfortable talking about almost anything in front of almost anyone, which is exactly why I'm probably going to get canceled for the 15th time. But what the fuck ever. You got to live with your truth.
Yep.
And you have to have your integrity. Because you can't live with your integrity, folks. You can't be successful, really, if you don't have integrity. So I am not going to answer your question at all. No, okay. So is it a bad thing, folks, to think of morality and ethics as black and white? It's not a bad thing. But people consider you to be morally simplistic if you look at the world in black and white. What do they say? The world is actually composed of grays. But let me ask you a question. What is gray? What is
Black and white.
No. Let's say that there are tons of situations where the ethical problems in those situations are complicated. And you can say they are gray. But what is gray? It's a mixture of black and white. And so in order to discern what's black and what's white in that gray mixture requires a deeper sense of discernment, a greater degree of reason applied to the context so that you can suss out the black and the white. It's not easy, but it exists. And there are absolutes in the world. I deny the entire concept of moral subjectivity. There are absolutes, objective absolutes, and in ethics, not religious-based, but in ethics, you can reasonably reduce to observable reality that apply to every single one of us, irrespective of what culture we come from, or what country we were born in, or what color our skin is. They apply to every single one of us. And the extension of the moral arc into real civilization is making sure that moral umbrella covers us all. Not just a few selected privileged folks, but everybody. So, in my opinion, gray is a mixture that needs to be finely sussed out. But you had another question there about the living wage. Everybody's talking about the living wage today, as if your employer owes you a living. Dead silence. You owe you a living. Your employer is not your parent. He's not God. He's not bestowing values on you. He or she is paying you for a job. You have to acquire the skills that enable you to make a living. I had to work 4 and 5 jobs at some time, bouncing around from house to house without a place to live. It sort of sucked, but I just didn't have the number of skills that enabled me to stick to one place at a time until I fucking acquired them. Even the minimum wage. Ideas like that, as beautiful as they sound to people, oh, I just get value, I get charity. I get to be paid more than the value of my labor because I'm a person, and after all, as I'm a person, I have intrinsic value, and because I have intrinsic value, you owe me shit. Is that true? Do you as a person have intrinsic value?
Yeah. Yes.
Well, to a degree, we can say, we have to look at each other as intrinsically valuable. That's what we call, right? You have rights because you're a human being who has intrinsic value. But as people interrelating with each other, you can't say that we all are equally valuable to each other. You don't value your children in the same way that you value a stranger in the street. If you did, there's something fucking wrong with you. It's okay to value some people more than others. In fact, in some respects, it's the highest expression of your love and respect for human sovereignty, for crying out loud. Leaving people alone to live their lives as they choose and to grow as high as they choose and to help other people up if you can, but being free to say no is the highest respect you can show another human being, because you're saying you're sovereign. And what does sovereign mean? You're free. You have free will. You have reason. You have the capacity to achieve your potential. And if you can't, I also have the capacity to say no, because I'm sovereign too, or to say yes and help you out. But you can't force me to do shit. Dead silence. These messages are not very popular today. I don't know if am I speaking another language? Or does this resonate with anyone? A couple, a few. We do understand that today we're not satisfied with the left or the right. They both suck. They're in it together. Why are they in it together? Because they agree essentially that you don't matter. You don't matter, you don't matter, you don't matter, you don't matter. You know what matters? The group. And you gotta give it all up for the fucking group. But you know what serves them? By putting you in groups, They get you in groups, and then they say these groups have rights and privileges that these other groups don't. And so this other group should be really pissed at this group here. And you guys got to start fighting each other. And while you're fighting each other, these cocksuckers on the left and the right in the establishment are winning. And you know who isn't? You and you and you and you and you and you and you. So I say, fuck them. Let's bring back, if it was ever here, I don't think it was ever really here, but let's bring back the idea that the smallest minority in the world, what's the smallest minority in the world? The individual. Each and every one of you here is the smallest minority in the world. And let's keep the gangs at bay by understanding what rights really mean. And if you understand what rights really mean, these cocksuckers on the left and the right can't do shit to you anymore. In fact, we should create the 13th labor of Hercules, redirect the Potomac River right through the fucking Capitol, and flush every one of these motherfuckers out into the ocean. Now that's easy to say, but guess what? You all voted for these fuckers. And you voted for them not once, not twice, but millions of times. So they sat in those fucking offices for 20 fucking years and 30 years until they're having brain aneurysms right in front of us, until they can't speak anymore, until somebody's telling them how to vote. I don't think I've lived a long time, 58 years, since the 1960s. One of the worst times and best times, the mid-60s and late 60s, because great things were happening. People were realizing we had to extend civil rights to everybody. Great movements alongside anarchistic movements that sucked. And now we're seeing the fruit of it right here. Idiocy on display, and it's all in Washington, D.C. Like every idiot on the planet is attracted to Washington, D.C. Why? Because they use words really well to get you really mad and agitated and feeling panicked and like you're in a state of crisis and that they're the only ones who can save you. Not a single one of those people can wipe their own fucking ass, let alone save you from a fucking crisis. So let's take it back. Shall we? Pitchforks? Torches, storm the Bastille, take that fucker apart brick by brick, and we can't do that. It's not time. What's that? They're assholes. They're assholes, though. I was there in Paris when those jack-offs were protesting. And what good did it do? What good does it do to smash a fucking window in an establishment that is, after all, employing people and making life a little bit better for their neighborhoods? Or to beat people up who have nothing to do with what the fuck happened there? Or to burn down a building? You know what it does? Exactly nothing. A bunch of 14 and 17-year-olds spazzed out, and a bunch of anarchistic CUNTSs exploited that and made a lot of violence for a lot of innocent people. And it was a block away from my house, from my wife. And that sucks. And I saw a lot of commies online egging them on. Of course, they were 10,000 miles away from the violence. But I think that's evil. I think that's evil. You know what you can do is you can educate yourself. You can talk. You can persuade. You can attempt. You guys might be going, oh, fuck, he's talking about politics. Fuck this, I want to kill myself. But guess what? You made politics important. Politics should be the least fucking important thing that we have to think about. But guess what? Now when you vote somebody in office, your life is on the line because you gave them your life. You said, take my health care, please. Take my housing. Take this part of my life. Take this part of my responsibility. You gave it to them. And now it matters who's in office. It shouldn't. But it does.
I had to have a snack.
I'm just kidding. This whole thing has been a lie. No, I'm kidding. So anyway, somebody wanted to get into it deep. I got into it deep. Okay, I apologize. Hey, what's up?
I'll be the antithesis. This is very light. What was your first concert you ever went to, and what would you say is the best concert you ever attended?
Oh my God. My first concert, as everybody's recovering from my speech just then, I can feel like people going, oh my fuck. My first concert was Def Leppard, the Pyromania tour. I thought they were great. And you know who opened for them? A little-known band that won some contest in New Jersey called Bon Jovi.
Oh!
They won the contest with Runaway. You know that song? I love that song. And I thought they kicked ass. I thought they were great. I thought Def Leppard was amazing. But I would say like one of the freakiest, like best concerts in like a super freaky way was Ronnie James Dio. Do you guys know Ronnie James Dio? Yeah. Right. Did he ever sing for Deep Purple? I know Black Sabbath and I know Rainbow, but I thought Deep Purple might have been in there too. But I went on his Holy Diver tour. Holy Diver! That one. And there was a totally freaky part in there. We're in the Santa Monica Civic Auditorium. I don't even know if it exists anymore. And he's just this little dude. But, it's the drums are going really slow. And he starts telling this story about this guy in this forest. And everybody's filled with people. The whole place is filled. He starts telling about this. Now I'm going to fuck the story up. I know, because I'm going to fuck the punchline up. But anyway, he's telling this story about this guy and who meets this other dude in the forest. And then the guy reveals himself as Lucifer. He's like, but I'm the devil for all of you. And he goes like this. And the whole audience went, ah, with their fingers up in the air like the devil sign. And it lit up. And I was like, holy fuck, this guy is satanic as fuck. And I love it. So he was really cool, man. He sounded the same live as he did on the album, and I love it when bands sound the same live as they do on the album. And I also got to know a band called Y&T in that mix, because do you guys know Y&T? I don't know why that band never made it, but you should hear this song, Summertime Girls. Check that out. It's an awesome, awesome song. And they got a bunch of other great songs. Lipstick and Leather. Stuff like that. Anyway,
Thank you.
How's that? Thank you so much. Thank you for bringing down the temperature. I feel it rising. It still hasn't dropped yet. Hey.
Hi. I was just wondering where you got drunk last night, and would you recommend that joint? And also, what are you most proud? What in your life are you most proud of?
Of?
Yeah.
So I know I act like I'm hammered all the time, and I seem hammered, and you think nobody would be talking about politics at a convention unless he's hammered at the moment?
No, I didn't think you were hammered,
but
you said about last night or something.
Oh, no, I did jiu-jitsu for 2 hours last night.
Oh.
Something like that, so I got really tired, and my teacher beat me up. But he doesn't have to like try to beat me up. He just beats me up. But he's very easy on me. But so I didn't get drunk. I haven't had a drink in 7 years.
Oh, wow.
Thank you. And I'm sort of proud of that. I don't think I was an alcoholic. But is that the way every alcoholic thinks so? Yeah. But I was certainly using alcohol as a way of evading problems, I think. Unconsciously, you just start drinking a cocktail at night, which was normal in the 60s. You've seen the Mad Men, right? It's just become sort of a habit, but then that habit is like your way out. And then I embraced full consciousness and reality and reason and truth and integrity and damn wherever that goes. And that I am proud of that. I'm proud, actually, of the character that I've been building over the last decade, which has been about finding a philosophy of life that's applicable to life, because most philosophies aren't applicable to life, that integrates everything in life that I will ever confront, and gives me a worldview and an ethics that's unshakable, and then trying to live up to that. And the more I live up to it, the better I feel, the more self-esteem I have. And it's just not, self-esteem isn't something you talk yourself into. I'm good, in the mirror every day, your mantra. No, self-esteem is setting a course and achieving it. Self-esteem is seeing that you can deal with the problems of life better than you think you can. And then once you see yourself overcoming these obstacles and dealing with them honestly, and even if you can't dealing with them, saying, I can't, I don't know what to do here, you start to feel better about you. And so I think my character now, compared to what it was 10 years ago, is very different. Actors, and I think artists in general, we get educated wrong. You know, we get educated that an actor has to be a fucking savage. I told you guys my Val Kilmer story, right? I didn't tell you guys my Val Kilmer story?
Oh.
Oh, that was a meet and greet. I get confused easily. You want me to tell you the Val Kilmer story? So I did this movie called Spartan, and I do this scene in Spartan. It's about a 3-page monologue. And Val Kilmer's supposed to steal this car that I'm in with another, I'm a prisoner, of course, a bad guy. We're being transported to prison. He breaks into the car, gets it, takes it, zooms around this thing, around this house, stops. I get out. I'm trying to escape, convince him to let us go. He eventually kills me. Sorry, spoiler alert. But the whole time I'm in the car, we had to wait for cloud cover to do its thing so it could diffuse the light. So we're in the car for a long time. I'm talking to the guy next to me, but Val is sort of in his own thing. He never said hi or anything like that, which is fine. We talk later on. He seemed pretty cool. But at a certain point, he rolls down the window, plugs one nostril, and blows a thick rope of snot out of one side of his nostril. And it's a never-ending rope of slime. And then he cuts it off and, does that. And then plugs that side and blows another toxic rope of snot out of his nose. And I, full disclosure, for anybody who ever wants to get on my bad side, I have a real issue with snot. Like, I will instantly vomit.
So mucus, phlegm, all that.
So the second that happened, I'm like, I start dry heaving in the back seat. They yell, action. We'd been waiting there for like a half an hour. Nothing happened. They yell action because the sun is in the right place. He takes off, and I'm hurling, and I have 3 pages of dialogue that I have to get through when he lets me out of the fucking car. And he opens the car, and I'm like, eyes watering, trying to get the image, the mental image of a streaming stream of snot coming out of his nose. I don't know how I managed it. I don't know if that was the take they took, but I somehow managed it. When I'm walking back to the car, I happen to look at his door, and there's a dollop of snot sitting there staring at me and taunting me. And I don't know what they did. I think I told somebody, can you please wipe that off, because I can't do it. I know it's a totally pussy way to act about it, but I couldn't do it. Anyway, what was the point? Oh, there's a point. So I took that as Val, who went to Juilliard, thinks that actors have to be fucking savages. And actors think they're being really uninhibited when they walk around naked or they fart in public. They do all kinds of uncouth shit, and they think they're individuals and really cool. That ain't cool, and that ain't art. So, we get educated that you got to follow your impulses, man, no matter how animalistic they are. And how can that not turn out a fucking savage who blows his nose on the floor in public and approaches women so many women were abused in Hollywood. Why? Because everybody's a fucking savage. They got no sense of fucking boundaries. They didn't know when to, how to be a fucking gentleman.
Yeah.
Because they didn't think it was decent. They didn't think it was artistic. They think you have to let your sexual impulses out wherever they happen. And so I think they're misled by acting teachers who talk to them about impulsiveness, which is definitely an important thing. When you're working, you can't question your impulses. You have to just live in the moment with the other person. But for fuck's sake, get a brain. Get a fucking brain. Cultivate your fucking brain.
Yeah, you're not on set in your life. You're
not. You're not. And you're also not alone in the world. And there's other people that you have to treat as sovereign beings who have just as much a right to be here as you. And just as much a right to their happiness as you. And you got to fucking remember that. Keep it in your head. Not use people and exploit them. Right? That's my point of view.
Yeah. Have you seen the documentary about him?
Yes. Okay, I mean, I had a good talk with him about Hamlet and when we were on the set, because I was working on that at the time. So I ended up bonding with him, and he wasn't difficult with me, but like I know he was with other people. So that was actually a very honest and sad kind of doc. Have you seen that documentary? You guys know Val Kilmer got throat cancer, and he was a Christian Scientist, so I think he put off treatment too long, I'm assuming, and now he has no voice, so he has to plug a tracheotomy hole in his throat in order to talk. And it's not really talking. He can't really talk because he doesn't have the vocal cords. So his son does all the narration through the film. And it's touching because he understands sort of where he is right now. But he's also accepting it in a way that I thought was sort of heroic. So there was a lot I actually found to like about him in that. What about you? Did you like that?
I liked the documentary about him because he said something that made me think, like all the actors would say, oh, he's so difficult. And he admitted he was a perfectionist, and he was brought up a certain way now I don't know if you agree with that, but yeah, that he was a perfectionist. And I think when a person's a perfectionist, they don't care what other people think. They just have their eye on something.
Okay, you're absolutely right. There's difficult and there's difficult. There's actors who get a reputation for being difficult because they're exacting. They're artists. They really are artists. And they want to produce this vision that they have in their mind, and they won't let anyone stop them when they're doing it. And a lot of times these guys get accosted by people and they're busy, they're focused, they're working, and people get a bad experience from them. They say, oh, that guy's difficult. All right. I know tons of actors like that. People might have thought Philip Seymour Hoffman was that way, or Rod Steiger, or these great actors who are just working. And then there's dicks who are really difficult. And Val, I think, would fall sort of in the middle. Mm-hmm. Yes, I admired the fact that when he wanted a part, he auditioned for it. He sent these tapes off, and he really went for it. I mean, a little too far, like real guns in one of his things where he's shooting a real fucking gun in his backyard. That's a little nutty. Yeah. But I liked the swing. But there was also an aspect of him that had an arrogance. And you sort of need a little bit of narcissism and arrogance to be an actor. To be an artist, I think to be good at anything, right? You need a little bit of, even if it's a sort of false sense of a little grandiosity, you do need that. Otherwise, you don't think you're worthy enough to be in front of people and saying what you're saying and doing what you're doing. So there has to be that element, but it has to be balanced by self-awareness, right? That's why I love stuff like jiu-jitsu. If you get too big for your fucking bridges, there's always somebody who's going to put you right the fuck in your place. And that's what I loved about martial arts too, right? You think you're bad, you get in the ring with somebody who's way better than you, and you're like, fuck. There's always somebody who's going to whoop your ass at anything you do. Mm. And that's a good place to be. I like that place. I like knowing where I am. And you know what? I like helping people. I like inspiring people and hoping that words, even if they disturbed you today, some of the shit that I said, that it planted a seed in your head and you're going to think about it later on. And maybe I provided a value to you that you didn't even think. It wasn't an entertaining value, but it was a different value that may change you 10 years from now. I don't know.
I think that you want to touch people, Mark, and I appreciate that. I do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I do want to touch people. Did I say that out loud? Sometimes my inside voice goes outside. Yes.
Hi. My question is a little silly. It's
I love
just,
it. I love
can
silly.
we play a game of rock, paper, scissors?
Oh, shit. Sure.
Okay.
Ready? 1, 2, 3. What did you got?
Scissors.
Okay, so we tied. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. I whooped your ass.
I did, yeah.
Did you want to try one more?
Sure.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Yo, you fuck.
Thank you.
Okay, so that's a tie.
Yeah.
Okay, essentially a tie. Okay, good.
All right.
I swear to God, I'm going to get back at you.
Okay, just to cut in real quick, we have time for one more question.
What?
So, time flies when you're having fun.
I know. Were you guys having fun?
Yeah.
All right, even though we got serious for a minute, was it okay for you? Really? If you say no, you're going to hurt my feelings and I'm going to go home and be very upset. I'm joking.
It's all good.
Okay, I'm glad it's all good. Is there one more question left? Hello. Good to
Hi,
see you
Mark.
again. Hi.
I wanted to know how and what you drew from when you played Lucifer. And did it haunt you after playing that character? Because it was so phenomenal and so soulfully done that I just wanted to know how it affected you in your life and how you drew to do that, because it was just perfect. It was just a phenomenal character that I've seen you in, and it just really touched me as how you can do something like that and how it affected you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's just my life. No. Well, there's a little bit of seriousness in that.
I just wondered.
So you don't look, first of all, you don't look at it as Lucifer. I mean, I didn't at least. Maybe somebody else could with greater talent. I look at it as a family problem, as a brother who's been rejected by his brothers and by his father. And all the unresolved rage that gives you and the desire for revenge.
So much passion in it. It was
So Lucifer's story is a story of pain. It says, revenge and rage come out of pain, right? It comes out of deep, deep sadness that's unresolved, and you take it. You're trying to conquer that sadness. And where did the sadness come from? Betrayal. When your father betrays you and he rejects you, it is the deepest hurt for a man. And probably a woman too. But the relationship between a man and a boy and his father, the necessity for that father to be there through his formative years is so powerful. I mean, we see it in the tragedy of, fatherless children becoming sociopathic and looking for bonding in gang membership and looking for manhood in violence against other people. That's the way I was growing up, because I didn't have a father growing up. And I was going in the direction of a place that probably would have ended me up in jail. I was becoming a very violent person. And martial arts took me away from that. Finding mentors took me away from that. People, all you need is one light in your life to lead you to the truth. One light that says, I love you and you care. And I care about you. I care about the way you're going. And here's what you need. Now, I had that through my life with people that I sought out. Not entirely. It's not like a dad. But it's close enough to get you out of the darkness, right? And so I just drew on my awareness of those family dynamics as best as I could from my own sense of what that meant.
remarkable. It was very, very
Well, you're very kind. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Well, I hope, folks, it's been edifying for me, and I appreciate the conversation. I really appreciate your questions. I want you to know I appreciate you guys very much. You're the reason that we're here. And if you've gotten some value out of Supernatural or any of the shows that have been lucky enough to participate in, be a small part in, and somehow it made your day a little bit brighter or a little bit more hopeful, I just want to say I'm very grateful to be a part of that positive element in your life. And I hope even this conversation today was a positive element in your life and planted something very positive for you in the future. All right? Love you guys.
All right, the incomparable Mark Pellegrino.
This is Kari Walgren, and you're watching Fandom Spotlight. Be sure to like and subscribe. Plus, remember to have fun and follow your fandom.